Thank you for joining us for another episode of Cryptocurrent. Just one quick reminder. Cryptocurrent is a cryptocurrency and blockchain education platform that's bridging the gap between the curious newcomers who are just discovering the space and the thought leaders who are shaping its future. All opinions expressed by Richard Carthon, the Cryptocurrent team, and their guests on this show are exclusively their own opinions. You should not treat any opinion expressed by Richard, the team, and their guests as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or to follow as financial advice. This show and any other Cryptocurrent production is exclusively for informational purposes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Cryptocurrent. Your host here, Richard Carthon. And today I have a very special guest that is working on a really interesting project that I think we all could use a lot more help with between crypto invoicing, payroll, expenses, etc. I'm really excited to have Christophe with Request Finance with me today. How are you doing today?
Hi, Richard. Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here as well. Thank you for welcoming me.
Of course. Well, excited to dive into everything you have going on with Request Finance. But before we do, I would like to spend some time learning a little bit more about you. Can you give us some background on yourself?
Little bit of background. I was actually a CFO, so a finance person in Switzerland. I did that for a few years, and then I jumped into the crypto space at the end of 2014. Since then, I've been building crypto projects. So it's been doing money transfers with crypto, then Request Network, and now together Request Network is still working quite well, and Request Finance, that is a brand new project for a bit less than 2 years, particularly helping CFOs.
Yeah. That's really cool. And, being able to work with CFOs, chief financial officers, or chief finance officers, what was that transition from Web 2 to Web 3.0? Like, what made you want to come over into the crypto space?
Oh, so that's actually an interesting topic. I think I got bored and fatalist a little bit about the banking system. And so that when I discovered that there's a new system, so I'm especially interested in the technology. And I understood there's a new system that works pretty well, where you can send money from a country to another in a few seconds for just a little fees. It's actually got me really interested. And that's where I started really to build in the space. And then especially for CFOs. So CFOs are struggling a lot when it comes to reconciliate payments. So basically they have a list of payments on the right, and they have a list of invoices on the left, and they don't know how to match them to each other, especially if it's the same amount. So with the blockchain, it actually becomes much more powerful, and it saves a lot of time, especially for finance persons.
Got it. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it's interesting that was your path into crypto and Web3. That was mine as well. What really piqued my curiosity is when I learned about a friend who was converting their money in the Philippines and sending it back to the US. And it took minutes and only cost a couple dollars. Like I was like, I'm hooked. So
Yeah.
So you're looking into this, you start to learn more about how you can transition from being in Web 2.0 over into Web 3.0, and you come up with the premise around or get to a point where you start to work with a couple different companies, and you eventually get to work with Request Finance. Tell us a little bit about that journey, and then how was Request Finance created?
I mean, I've been in the space for many years, and I've been playing the role of a CFO as well. I realized that even though the technology is awesome and it's the technology of the future, there are still CFOs, including myself at the time, who are spending way too much time doing and managing payments. So we we had built a request network. We're still building it, actually, a technology for payment request. And we understood that using this technology to build request finance is actually super useful, especially because request finance is helping CFOs with salary payments in crypto, with invoice payment in crypto, and very soon with expense payment in crypto. So it's actually all kind of payment that necessitate a payment request. And then, well, if you look at it, you've got, for example, a CFO at a very big Web3 companies. You take the top 20 on CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, and we've got most of them as clients. And they basically, instead of spending 10 to 30 hours a month managing payments, making payments with their wallets, and then trying to figure out which payment corresponds to which invoice, they now save up to 30 hours a month. So it's what really is interesting. And so I'm solving my own problem, right? But it feels especially good when there are many others, like hundreds of other finance people who are saving time. So that's basically what we sell today is you want to save time and you are a finance person in the crypto world, then we definitely can help.
Definitely. And to your point with that, with a lot of the things in crypto all being on a public ledger, you're able to go and get a lot of this information and helping to decipher a lot of where all the money is moving, where things are coming from, and being able to help speed up that process. Like you said, 30 hours, that's a lot of time. That's a lot of billable hours.
Yeah.
That is helping to save
especially
both
the
time and
CFO
money.
is expensive, right? So the
Oh,
finance
absolutely.
people, they are like quite smart people, and they should not be doing a repetitive task. It's so cumbersome. I guess so you can use the blockchain to save money. It makes sense, especially compared to Swift. You will save a lot of money if you do international transfers. But you can also use it to save time. And basically, it's still around manual work. If you do anything that is manual, you just should be focusing on how to do things in a smarter way. And there are some products that are built to help, like request finance, of course.
Right. And I mean, this spans to your target audience. It could be, DAOs, freelancers, people who are just working in the crypto space in general. But the cool piece about this is the ability to be able to pay people and a lot of these altcoins. So on the website, it talks about how there's 150 cryptos and stable coins that you can work with in 18 different blockchains, ecosystems. I mean, that's pretty robust. Can you talk through that a little bit more?
Yeah, so we add new networks like Polygon network or Phantom network or the Near protocol. We add them when we got clients who really need this network. And then we add the cryptocurrencies when we have a client who need the cryptocurrency. So that's why, if you look at the different currencies, most of the people are actually paying either in their crypto native token. So the sandbox gonna pay invoices in Sand token, and also in stablecoins. So that's why we ended up with 150 cryptocurrencies on more than 15 different payment networks. So we connect with those networks, which means that if you make a payment on Polygon or if you make a payment on Ethereum, we're gonna tell you exactly what invoice corresponds to this payment. That's where you save a lot of time as well. Then you just you upload to a traditional bookkeeping software, and you upload the information that is easy to read by the bookkeeping software, which is also another struggle that we help with.
Right. I'm sure trying to deal with all these different offboarding softwares, whether it be QuickBooks or some of the other popular ones out there, it's its own can of worms. But something else that's important for a lot of people is the non-custodial part of it, right? You want things to be safe and secure. If you're going to be spending money, you want to make sure that it's going to safely get there, or you're not somehow susceptible to being hacked yourself. What are some things that y'all put in place to make sure that everything is secure?
So we take safety extremely seriously. So we are making huge efforts to help the issuers to receive money on their wallet, and the payers to pay with many different wallets. So today you can pay with more than 150 wallets. So for example, if you have 15 invoices to pay, you pay 15 invoices in one click if you have any of those 150 wallets. Which means actually we are being non-custodial, exactly like you explained. So you can receive money on almost all wallets out there. We're speaking about hundreds, if not thousands of wallets, and you can pay with 150. But we don't provide the wallet. We just adapt to yours. And I think Web3 is a lot about interoperability. And being non-custodial is actually a way to show that we want interoperability with most other wallets, also with most other startups and companies or dApps in the ecosystem. That's one of the promise. We're already building a request finance on top of a few DeFi technologies. And basically, it's just the beginning. If you look at everything that's popping up these days, whatever the market, if it's bull or bear, there's many builders, what we are seeing at conferences like at ETH, you basically see that there are many, many builders and it's getting faster and faster. So we want to build together with other systems. So a lot of interoperability and being non-custodial, and that's very good for security. So of course, we always audit our contracts before releasing them. We always make things seriously. We pay bounties if people manage to find anything. We basically also help our customers. So sometimes our customers, they are Web 2 finance people and they end up in the Web 3 world because they're kind of passionate about it. And so, for example, we help them to avoid double payments. So, if you use a MetaMask wallet, for example, once in a while, you're going to make a double payment. But when you make a double payment to a provider and not to yourself, it's sometimes hard to get the money back. So we help with that. And it's a very good surprise for our users today when they realize that we help them because we noticed that they might be paying twice for an invoice. So there are many things that we help with in terms of security, very important for us.
And it's essential. And I think one of the other pieces that you were speaking on is how important interoperability is as well. As the builders keep coming, there's more and more ecosystems that are going to be here, and being able to support each of them on their own native chains and working with that is very important. And it also just helps with building really good community, and it helps with being able to provide easy access for, a CFO that just comes from Web 2.0, immediately going to this new Web 3.0, still trying to figure out everything. And now they're having to figure out how all of these different ecosystems work. I'm sure it can feel very overwhelming. What are some of the ways that you are going about trying to help transition these CFOs from Web 2.0 over into Web 3.0?
Yeah, so we are very close to our customers and people using the product. So we have customer support 24 hours, almost 7 days a week, because we are on many different continents. And I think the people in the team are in 14 different countries. So that helps to be close to customers. But more than that, and more than just talking with them, making calls and explaining what the best solution for them. So sometimes you just need to help them understand what is the best solution to them, even if it's not request finance in the short term. And there's something that helps especially well. It's a club that we've launched, where currently there's like a bit more than 50 CFOs of top Web3 companies, most of them being Web3 unicorns. It's called Web3CFO.club. So this group, Web3CFO.club, is actually a Slack group where people work together, share with each other their challenges, and basically you end up having an on-ramp to the crypto space, special for CFOs.
Which is really great that you're creating this community, and we learn through working through each other, right? Working through challenges and then saying like, hey, I don't understand how to do this. Has anyone and face this or encountered this, and being just have someone be like, yes, I actually solved this last week. Here's some steps you can take is extremely powerful. How have you seen Web 3.0 CFOs be able to come together to help make not just their own community stronger, but help each other be stronger? Like how are you seeing the communities basically just from like the comparison from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0? Would you say that it is more welcoming? Would you say it's more free flowing of information?
Definitely.
Like, how would you describe that?
Definitely more open, more welcoming. So you see CFOs of projects which could seem competitors. I think competition does not really exist the same way as in Web2 first. So those people building in the Web3 space, they see themselves as building something the open way. The open way means they are able to share about what they need and their needs and their challenges. Web3 CFOs have challenges that are not easy because there's not millions of CFOs in the Web3 space yet. And so they help each other. They got knowledge from many different countries, and they able to help each other, even if there seems to be some competition. What I'd like to emphasize about competition is that in the Web3 space, we speak a lot about decentralization. I think decentralization means being against centralization, and it's not only. I mean, sometimes centralization might be needed, however, Web3 for sure is about interoperability. So that's the biggest potential of the Web3 industry. And so it's not only technically, so yes, it happens technically, there is interoperability, but also in the mindset of people. So that's what we see between the different companies, the different finance persons, where they cooperate with each other. And we can talk about the cooperative competition that plays in favor of the users, so in favor of the clients. So basically, where user experience is king, especially if the Web3 companies help each other. And then the Web3 market is going to grow fast and aspire even more from the Web2 market.
Definitely. I would say just overall, the Web3 community is way more open, wants you to be successful. And even though competition is healthy, we are all building in the same direction. And something I think is cool about what you're creating with Request Finance and being able to do all these different ways, people forget how important it is to keep your books in line, to keep your accounting in check, to be able to send people money and pay people money, because we live in a decentralized world in a lot of ways where a lot of people are working and have workers all across the world. And now you have a way to be able to pay them directly in the cryptocurrency of their choice, or even fiat if you want. And now you have a path to getting that done. So for someone that's listening to this, and whether they're their own business owner, they're a freelancer that's hoping that they can start getting paid in crypto, walk us through, like, what does that process look like for being able to use Request Finance?
So quite simple, actually. You've got two situations. Either you are issuing invoices and you want to get paid in crypto. Actually, it works as well for salaries. So you could be like requesting a salary payment. Or you are paying invoices in crypto, and it works the same for paying salaries in crypto. So basically, in the first case, you want to get paid. You just sign up to on a request.finance, the website, and in a few clicks, you end up sending an invoice that's encrypted, but still on the blockchain. And then the person is going to receive it and in one click can pay it. So I let you imagine how fast you're getting paid when you're using a product like Request Finance. Then the second case is you are paying invoices. So like the Sandbox or Phantom or Polygon team, basically they pay hundreds of invoices. And if you are paying invoices, you just send a link to the invoice issuer. So all your providers, all your freelancers and independent people working for the product, you ask them to follow this link to create an invoice. Once they do, you have a dashboard with all your invoices in one place. And you just one click away from paying all of them and having a triple entry accounting, but for your invoices. So basically on each invoice, the invoices comes from the blockchain. It's marked as paid. So you have the reconciliation with the payment. You also have the link of the payment in there. So it's basically very, very good user experience. And then also you feel good because as a company owner, basically, if you have an invoice for every payment that you have, it's much better than sending Etherscan links or Polygon scan links. So basically, the accountants tend to be very afraid if you do that. Now that you have invoices, you just feel great because you are using the most compliant solution that makes you a compliant company. So your accountant is happy. He's receiving information the same way he's used to receive information. Auditors are happy. Authorities are happy. It's actually quite a good feeling.
Definitely. And it makes everything more legitimized. It does it in the most compliant way, and it's more efficient as well.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you explaining a couple of different scenarios of how people would use this. And, for people who are looking to learn more about this, you can, of course, go to request.finance to get more information on that. But what are some other ways that people would be able to learn more and be able to connect?
So, of course, the website request.finance, of course, web3cfo.club for CFOs. And other than that, Twitter. I'm trying to be active on Twitter myself, request finance as well. So don't hesitate to reach out to me.
Perfect. And Christophe, as we wrap up here, man, I always like to finish with a couple fun questions. And the first one I like to come up with is you've now been in the space for 8 years. A lot of people are entering it for the first time, have never experienced a bear market. They're now going through it for the first time. You have been through several. For people who are just entering this space, if you could give yourself some 1 to 2 pieces of advice when you first got started back in 2014, what wisdom would you impart to yourself?
So I'm not saying I did things very well or perfectly myself, but I realized that the best decisions, especially the trading decisions, but also like which tool you're gonna use, like many things, come from thinking and not from media attention. So basically, marketing, communication, buzz on Twitter and social media are good for the project, but they are not good for your own thinking. So I would say that it's important to try to think your own way, have your own decision framework, even prepare how you're gonna make the decision, and then get the information to make this decision, and then you make the decision. So you can apply this to investments. You can apply this to which application you're gonna use for the payment of your invoices. You can apply this for many different things, but if you have a decision framework first, it's really gonna help. And that's why people make better decisions in the bear market. But in the bear market, people are a little bit afraid, and that's when you are rational in this emotional environment that you make good decisions. So again, I'm not inciting anyone to invest, trade, or do anything.
Right.
I'm just saying that thinking is best before acting.
Absolutely. I think that is a great gem, a great reminder. Come up with your own thesis. Don't follow the hype trains. Make sure that you have done your own research before you. But Christophe, I appreciate that. What is a final thought that you want to leave with everyone here today?
Maybe one thought is it's a great opportunity to build. When we are in the bear market, and I hope the bear market is going to stay for a short while, so that we can focus on building. It's really now that things are starting to happen. I mean, even worldwide, there's a downturn, and it's a huge opportunity for the builders. So don't hesitate.
This is the time. So builders keep building. You heard it from Christophe himself. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Everyone listening, make sure you go check out Request Finance, and that's at request.finance. And again, appreciate you spending some time with us. And for everyone listening, make sure you stay cryptocurrent.